Hello everyone at home. I'm Chef Sean, Raw Chef Sean. This is Andrew Gabriel Roth. I'm in Andrew and Jay's home, and I'm here to teach you guys all about raw foods. My first recipe for today is spicy kale chips. Thank you for having me here, Andrew. It's going to be a pleasure to teach you and to feed you guys.
Likewise, it's great to have you here, Sean. I got to tell everybody out here who's watching this, I've been a huge meat and potatoes guy forever, and obviously it kind of shows a little bit. So, but since Sean has come under our roof here, we have enjoyed the most spectacularly tasty, nutritious food, thanks to his knowledge here. And I just wanted to say thank you for this because I love what we're eating now, and I love the way it makes us feel. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
I will leave it up to you. I'm going to be cooking up my scripture studies, if that's all right.
Thank you for having me, Andrew.
Have a great day.
You too. Goodbye. Okay. Let me introduce the different ingredients that are part of the spicy kale chips recipe. The first thing we've got is Himalayan salt. The next thing we've got is some turmeric. Then we have some sun-dried tomatoes. We have some squeezed lemon juice here. Some chopped up jalapeno peppers, which is done in the food processor. These are Brazil nuts. You can use macadamia nuts if you so choose to. It gives a slightly different taste. These have been soaked for 2 hours, although you want to soak them for 8 hours if you have the time. These are pine nuts. We've also soaked these. And then finally we have our 2 cups of water. You can have distilled water or filtered water, preferably not tap water. You want your water to be as clean as possible for the food that you're going to consume. Okay, those are all our ingredients. What we're going to do is, all these ingredients, we're going to put them into the blender. Today I'm using a Vitamix blender. You can use other blenders, but I would suggest using a Vitamix as it has the power of the motor to blend, especially the nuts, the hard things when you're doing ice cream, and hard nuts that haven't been soaked, like you're doing your nut milks. That's where you need that motor and that power that you won't strain and it won't die. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put everything into our blender here. That's the lemon juice. Let's put the Brazil nuts. Remember I said you can also use macadamia nuts if you like, soaked. We've got some Himalayan salt. The turmeric. You want to be careful with turmeric. For those who don't know, it can stain a lot, your clothes and stuff, so you want to use it and quickly wash the spoons or whatever utensils you're using once you've use your packet or bottle of turmeric. Try not to get it on your tabletops, your clothes, it will stain. Our jalapeno peppers chopped up. For those of you who like spicy things, you can leave the seeds in or put more jalapeno peppers than I have. I've only used 2 chopped up jalapeno peppers and I've left the seeds in because I like something spicy. For those who don't, you just use 1 jalapeno pepper and de-seed it, and just use the 1 jalapeno pepper or 2 jalapeno peppers, but both de-seeded. Okay. We have our pine nuts here. These also have been soaked for 2 hours. These can also, they tend to be very hard like nuts if you don't soak them. So you'll see all the things that are going to put your blender, whichever blender you're using, under strain. That's where the recipe suggests that you soak them so you get that softness. And it also gives it more of a creamy texture once you've soaked your nuts and your pine nuts and so on. And then lastly, the water before we blend. Excuse me if I messed the entire table. Okay. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to blend it. You're going to hear it very noisy, so I won't be able to speak during this time, but once I'm done I'll explain, and you'll see everything will turn into almost like a soup and a paste texture. And that's what we're going to put onto our kale. Okay, here we go. Let me just hit the power.
Sure. Down there.
Okay, there we've got power. It's always good to have power when you're working with food. Power tools for us men at home. That looks good. What you want to do when you blend in is you want to test your consistency depending if you're making soups or liquid, like a nut milk. You can test your consistency by lifting and then seeing, right here, is it thick, is it thin, how do you want it to be? And if it's not thin enough, you just simply stick it back, turn on your blender again, carry on processing, moving all the different ingredients from corner to corner, and you check it again. If the consistency is right, then you're ready to carry on. When you're using your Vitamix blender, you want to work the corners, because the corners will press. Every time you work the corners, it presses everything into the center, and that way the blade can snatch it up and then blend it. Okay, so that's our mixture done. All our ingredients. The sun-dried tomatoes you want to put in. You also want to blend it once you've blended everything else. This is the slightly hard, and so you want to press it to the bottom. Make sure your blender is closed properly. You don't want everything spraying on your roof and on your floor. Consistency looks great. We're going to use this mixture on our kale chips. We're going to pour it over. We're going to massage and mix it in, and that's going to give the kale chips flavor, especially once we've dehydrated them. That flavor, all that flavor that's coming from this sauce, is going to, how do you say, come out of the chips, and that's what's going to make you enjoy kale. Okay. So let's put all the kale that we've got. So we've bought pre-bought chopped kale. It's been triple washed. Buying pre-washed veggies or washing them yourself is essential. Why? Because any dirt, mud that's left behind, the particles, when you're storing it in your fridge or your refrigerator, that dirt actually that sits on your vegetables, it actually can make it go off and rotten a lot quicker. So if you had bought kale or collard greens and they were going to last maybe 4 to 5 days and you had left dirt on them, you would expect a lifetime of maybe 2 to 3 days. They just lose their life and their enzymes and nutrition a lot quicker if they haven't been washed. Okay, so we have our kale here. Let me just put a little bit more. We're going to pour our mixture onto the kale. You want to pour it in a circle around so you get it all over the show. Now what we're going to do is we're going to massage all that sauce that we put, that flavor. We're going to massage it into the kale, and what you'll find while you're massaging it is the kale will start, this happens with romaine lettuce, with collard greens, with most of your greens, it'll actually start sucking all that sauce and that flavor into it, and it will become more supple and easier for you to massage as you go. So let's just mix it in from the top to the bottom. Make sure you're getting it everywhere. This is the flavor that we're putting into all these different kale greens. Make sure you get every single leaf, because you don't want to have plain chips. So you get it in nice and moist. The more you massage it, the more that it sucks up all that flavor. It's almost like, I would say, massaging a friend or your partner. You got to put just enough power in that you get in the muscle, but not too much. You don't want to squeeze it, and not too little, that you don't want to not get it into your greens. Okay, once you've massaged this correctly and you can see that all your kale is got all the sauce that it needs, that it's become more supple, what you want to do now is lay it on your dehydrated tray. You want to spread it around. When we put it in the dehydrator, we're going to set the degrees to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to spread your kale around just evenly enough that the dehydrator can work its magic and put all that heat through the different leaves, because if you put a section too thick, the dehydrator won't be able to get all the air where it needs to go, and some places you'll find are more wet than others. And that's it. In 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours, depending on how crispy and hard you want your chips, your spicy kale chips will be ready for consumption. And this mixture of sauce and kale can make about two 1-gallon bags of snacks. That's it for me here at Andrew and Jay's home. Thank you, Jay and Andrew, for allowing me to be here and to teach you guys. And all of you at home, if you have any questions or thoughts on this, please feel free to share. And thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Thank you, Sean.